Welcome to the Central Prairie Co-op Podcast, your go-to source for all things agriculture. Each week, we bring you expert insights, market trends, and real stories from the field. Whether you're a seasoned producer or joining us for the first time, there is something here for you. So, grab a coffee and let's dive into the business of agriculture from the ground up. Welcome to the Central Prairie Co-op Podcast. Joining us today is Cory Hoffman, our Sterling feed mill manager. Cory, you're here to talk about livestock care over the summer.
Yeah, and good afternoon. It's great to be here.
Good afternoon. We are glad to have you, and we're thinking about this ahead of what we think is going to be some humidity and then some warmer temperatures.
Yeah, especially if we get the rain that they're talking the next couple days. I think you're going to see humidity, but if we don't, then we start looking at what's the other options that we're going to have to fight. That's going to be the biggest problem. So like here we are, if it stays dry, the biggest one's going to be creep feed. Mm-hmm. When's the right time to start it? And I'll be honest with you, right now, the number one is going to be quality grass. Are these cows going to be able to maintain themselves with the calves sucking on them with this grass that's probably, really under mature, mm-hmm. And so are we going to see these cows starting to be sucked down, starting to lose their body frame structure and everything because those calves are just sucking them so hard. Mm-hmm. Cool grasses this year that we normally have in the spring, we didn't get those because it was just so stagnantly hot all the way through the winter. So the ticks are horrible. Yep. The flies are already horrible. Yep. Are you going to see cows hiding underneath trees when we shouldn't be? So that's the biggest problem that's the reason why I think you go to the creep feed. It aids in these calves not sucking those cows down when they're standing underneath the tree, and those calves could be over to creep feeder just helping themselves become a $2,000 calf.
Yeah. And self-sufficient.
Mm-hmm, yeah. And then that just helps aid in that minimal stress area too, because once those cows and calves start to stress, you really start seeing, a lot of people may think I'm crazy for saying this, but I've seen calves get pneumonia in the summertime, and you're like, that shouldn't happen. Well, that's because you got a high stress volume, and then those calves will start stressing, and you'll spend days chasing pneumonia calves, and you don't want to chase them, but you got to doctor them.
Yeah.
And so that's the one reason why I think this year, if we don't get the rain, the high importance of creep feed is going to be number one. Mm-hmm. And especially with cattle prices being the way they are.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen it.
They're high.
You can sell, I think a baby calf is going for $600. Yeah. And that's a day old. Mm-hmm. And you're selling 10 or 12-year-old cows for anywhere from $3,000 to $4,000, and a cull bull that may not be all there. They're selling them for kill prices at $300 or $400, mm-hmm. or $3,000 or $4,000. Excuse me. So it's crazy. You've never seen cow market like this. Is it going to stay that way? We don't know. Mm-hmm. But the way it is right now, you can't afford not to feed them. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's the one that I think I keep telling myself, and I tell our customers, is a lot of these guys, commercial guys, I think I've said it before, they'll haul their calves straight when they wean them to the sale barn. Mm-hmm. So if they're been on creep, that's a blessing. And so we're talking, anywhere from $320 to $350 a ton for creep feed. So I think where I'm at, you're getting $2,000 to $3,000 for a calf straight off the cow if you creep feed for $350 a ton. I think you're right there. I think that'd be the smartest thing to do, mm-hmm. especially if you want to be able to suffice yourself through this drought year that we've been having. Mm-hmm. Because there's a lot of people that could have to sell out because they don't have the money, and that's a bad thing because mm-hmm. we don't wish that on anybody.
No, we do not. At Central Prairie, I feel like that's something we pride ourselves on. We really try not to miss those smaller farmers. Mm-hmm. Some of us that work at Central Prairie are those smaller farmers.
We're going to make it work for you.
Right.
So if you can't feed this style creep feed, all you got to do is tell one of us salesmen, and we'll still formulate something for you to make it where it's in your price range.
Absolutely.
We are able to go in and say, okay, well, let's fix this a little bit so it is in your price range.
Right.
And then that's what we do.
And we can right size for your operation.
Yep, right size for your operation.
Absolutely.
So the next one I really would like to talk about is going to be heat stress, which goes with this creep feed deal. Heat stress control for livestock. And this is any livestock, any cow, any sheep, any goat, any horse. And people are probably going to laugh at this because I say, make sure you put the water tank in the right spot. And people will say, well, there's not a wrong spot. There's not, but there is. You know, I always say don't put the water tank in a shaded area because that's where they're going to spend 90% of their time. I know we want to make sure they have water, but at the same time, you want to make sure that animal exercises. So make sure you put that water tank in the right place so that animal still gets its exercise. But as well, make sure you put that water tank in the right place because let's say you got a pond that is pretty close. If you do it right, you can put a drain system in that water tank to where once the stock tank is full, it drains into a pipe that drains out to the water tank and keeps the pond full too. And that's another water source. So if you're capable of doing that, you should be doing something like that because any water source that could helps its livestock. Keeps them stress free, keeps them hydrated, keeps them in body condition, keeps it where they're still moving and they're exercising. I know it sounds weird saying exercise, but exercise goes a long way on these cows or anything because you look at us. I mean, I'm not judging, but if we sit around, what happens?
That's right.
You know,
Yep.
And so that's the same thing with the livestock. If you sit around, it happens. And that's the reason why you see the show cattle compared to the cattle that are out in the pastures. Show cattle get pinned up in a little 12 by 12 pin. They don't get much exercise. That's because they want them to be big. And so that's kind of the biggest one, which I placing the water tanks and making sure your tanks are accessible to the babies. And that kind of goes a little 50-50 because the calves were still going to drink milk, which there's water in that milk. But at the same time, as those calves get older, they're going to start following what mama does and their repetition. And if you put a stock tank out there that is 4 foot tall on the sides, those calves can't reach it. I think that's number one. And making sure that those babies too, that goes back to the low stress on the creep feed, making sure those babies can handle that water, you know, and get to the water because you want it. Making sure plenty of shade is adequate during the heat of the day is mostly the biggest one. It's going to be now on darker haired colored cattle like black cattle. You very seldomly see them out in the heat of the day. Mm-hmm. They're underneath a tree. But making sure you got adequate shade. And I know you can't control it in a pasture, but try to make sure that you got some sort of shade. And those calves will go find it, and they're going to stay cool. And they will do what they need to do. And a lot of people don't know is we sell a mineral here at Central Prairie Co-op that is called a Master Gain Kool-Aid, either with CTC or just regular plain Master Gain. It's got garlic in it. It's got citrus stem in it and some other stuff that there's a habanero extract in it that helps keep the cattle cool. And so that really helps. I've seen cattle that are on that Master Gain Kool-Aid that they probably don't spend as much time under the shade tree and they're out grazing. But do I think it works? Absolutely. And we can help you here at Sterling, or we can help at any location. Somebody can get you pointed in the right direction of making sure that you get the right mineral to help control heat stress or help control anything stress-wise in your livestock. And same thing with creep feed. Reach out to one of us, reach out to a location, get to a feed salesman and say, hey, I'm doing this, but these calves aren't looking like I think they are. And we will get you somewhere to where you need to be at. Make sure that you do your due diligence and take care of your animals. And in these, even cold, make sure you take care of them and treat them like you want to be treated, because that goes a long ways. If you can't buy the best, try to find the next best, and we will help you. Heat stress and creep feed is probably one of the biggest ones this year that we're going to have to worry about and see. And if you have any questions, don't be afraid to reach out to any of us here at Central Prairie Co-op.
Y'all, I learn something new every time I visit with one of our livestock nutrition experts at Central Prairie Co-op. If you have questions, give us a call at 620-278-3629. These guys love to visit with y'all about your livestock. It's what they do. It's their passion. And we love to help y'all, big to small. We don't care. We don't care. We are here to help sustain the rural lifestyle, and we want to hear from everyone. Thanks again, Cory, for coming on and for talking about nutrition for the summer. And thank you all for joining the Central Prairie Co-op podcast, where we talk all things ag from the ground up.